When we refer to the community of Newcastle, then I see it as something that encompasses a group of people. We've got in the school community, we've got our parents, we've got our learners, and we've got our teachers. And I see it in the end as part of a bigger community, namely the Newcastle community. So, you know what, when we function in the school community, we cannot function without the Newcastle community. We actually, as a school, have a responsibility to serve the community of Newcastle. And therefore, it's so important to me that we take hands and that we work with the parents and that we work with the learners. In Afrikaans, there's a storybook. It says, "Dis 'n stikkende wêreld hierdie my ou." And we really do have a world with a lot of sadness and with a lot of broken homes. It's the norm nowadays. It's not funny to have broken homes and kids that really battle. Therefore, our task as educators and serving the community really has changed. And we prioritize that. We've got so many places where we try and include the community. We need the parents to support us. It starts at home. We have our values. There's so much. It's such a big thing that we're trying to install and implement and teach the learners about values, because some of them really do not learn this at home. So when we have our charities on Fridays, one of our values is compassion. In other words, to really care about people, to really reach out. So when we have our charity drives, we look at the SPCA, we look at Home Meal, we look at the Gratitude and Ice Morestar, and we try and get involved there. So recently we had our Can project, where I think it was over 5,000 cans that we actually got together for needy learners. So we do have a feeding scheme at Ferrum High School, and it's sad that over holidays these kids, the one meal a day that they actually get, they don't get. So that's when we now give the cans. So we focus on Can, and it's our RCL that drove this project, and it was a huge success. So really, the last thing that I want to say about the community of Newcastle is we've got a stunning town. Newcastle is a vibrant, growing place, and I really think that people should support local, support the schools. Don't go out there. Newcastle, we've got excellent schools, and as a principal, I would like the community to also support us. We really aim to make a positive difference in our community and our charities that we specifically drive. So therefore we would like the community to support us. Being a new principal at Ferrum High School, we've sat down with our governing body, we had a bosberaad, and we really hashed things out to decide, you know, where we're going with the school. Looking at a 5-year plan, looking at a 10-year plan, and we've already implemented a few of the developments. So to me, the first thing that I wanted to look at was maintenance of the school, and luckily we started last year looking at what happened at Drew, the tragedy there. So we've really looked at our bridges, we've looked at maintenance, we've started painting, we've already painted A block, we've already painted at the workshops, and then obviously all the windows were hit out, so we've got a small setback. The next phase will be to paint all the buildings. I mean, the first impression of any outsider is what the school looks like. So we're looking at, we're busy painting. We've had the gardens, jacked them up a bit, put in a little bit more flowers. Obviously being a female principal, I like the pretty things. So we've put in some flowers and nice things there. We've just recently completed our conference room in our foyer, and that seems to be something that, you know, when you have it, then you realize, but how on earth did we do without it? So we're using our conference room quite frequently. And then, you know what we've also done in line with what's happening in South Africa is we've jacked up our camera system. We've got high quality HD cameras that they'll probably finish this week. So there's 160 cameras all over the school. And when we discussed this at the FETSA's meeting the other evening, they emphasized the security risk that schools are at. We are soft targets, and there's about 200 schools recently targeted in Gauteng alone, where they actually robbed the schools. So not just to support the whole schooling system, and in the classrooms where we know, luckily our school has not been in the media with bad publicity, but it happens so quickly. It's just like that, and then you have an incident. And even we, with the photos being placed and the community out there responding often in a negative way, it's important for us to know what's happening in the classroom and to see what's going on, so that we can support teachers and even support learners, so that we can just see that things go well. So the camera system we're really, really excited about. And with the recent developments, not only with buildings and cameras and stuff like that, we are looking at the future with technology and the robotics that they're bringing in, and the department wants to phase it in up until grade 9. So we are doing those webinars, doing our homework, and we've implemented new subjects now as well, the technical maths, the technical science. So we are one of the few technical schools offering the technical direction. And that's probably one of our strong points, is the variety of subjects that we have. So we don't just have the technical, we also have art and music, and then obviously your commerce subjects. So in line of development, we look at different aspects. With on the sports side, last year we've upgraded our netball courts to also have 3 tennis courts there. So that was recently upgraded. We also did our rugby fields turf. We replaced it with new grass. I don't know exactly the name of it. And of course, for future developments, we are looking at the Astro. So we have been planning for 3 years now. The planning is in the final stages. So we are very excited because we are such a strong hockey school, and we have to move with the times. And years ago we actually played netball on grass. You will no more find netball courts on grass, not in town schools, maybe still in the rural schools. So that's the way to go, is to have Astro for the hockey. So that's one of the huge projects that we're going to do. When we look at our school, Ferrum is a fairly young school, especially when we look at other schools in KZN. And we've grown so much over the past few years. The success of the school, I have to attribute to each aspect of the school. We've got the educators, we've got our learners, we've got parents, we've got the community. Any success story cannot be attributed to one aspect. So it's basically all those aspects working together with one common goal. Together with that, obviously a lot of planning, a lot of foresight, seeing where are you going, what do you want to achieve. When I look at, let me refer to academics, because if I go into the sport, there's really a lot of stuff going on there. One of our values and our main motto is pride in excellence. So whenever we look at things that we approach, we look at excellence, and with a focus on academics. And our aim is not as much 100% pass rate. And I think parents might wonder, but why not? Because that's the first thing you see on the covers of newspapers is 100% pass rate. But the real emphasis should be on quality education. And that's where we emphasize our bachelor's passes. And over the years, it's just been improving. Years back it was around about 50s, and then the 60s, and then the 70s. We're aiming for 80. Now 80% bachelor's pass rate is really impressive. When you look at a bachelor's pass, it means that learners can actually go to varsity and they can go and further their studies. If you don't have a bachelor's pass, then you can go to technicons and further your studies and do diplomas. However, you are limited when you want to study degrees. So with Ferrum's motto, or our vision, saying through Ferrum into the future, we need to be able to equip learners to basically get your education here at school level so that you can move further into a tertiary institution. And if you don't have the bachelor's pass, then the door closes. So we need to open our doors and get the kids out there, and we've really been successful. And as I said, it's commitment, dedication, and I hope the community out there doesn't still believe that teachers actually work half their jobs, because they don't. There are extra classes after school. The sport carrying on after school, all the culture activities going on after school is hectic. And sometimes I actually wonder how the parents get their kids to everything, because your talented learners seem to be achieving in all of those aspects. So that is really our approach, excellence, and that's why we are successful. The achievements of our school for the past few months have really been exceptional, and it's difficult to highlight only a few. However, I'm going to really try. Maybe I can just tell people that we've got our monthly newsletter on our website and on our Facebook site, so you're welcome to go and check it out. We've just finished our PIC 16, and with the PIC 16 schools throughout different provinces take part. It's called the PIC 16, but it's the Northwest University Sports League, where we have different sports participating. And for the third year running, our girls hockey have come out first. So they have not lost a match. It's really an excellent achievement. Obviously, because our hockey do this so well, our second team I think came second or third, I'm not too sure now, because they're doing so well, and that's why we want to start with this Astro project. Then, so many of our teams got the first 5 positions from the 16 schools, so we're very proud of that. Together with the shooting and with the PIC League, we have the shooting, and one of our learners now achieved first place, going to England. We are the top shooting school throughout KZN. We've got this huge, they call it the Angel, huge trophy worth quite a lot of money that sits in our foyer, and the shooters, they've been getting it now for a few years. So we're very proud of that. When we look at our tours, our teams all went away in the holidays and they've excelled there. We have a group at Ferrum where the teachers share the achievements of the learners. And when you're on these different tours, you can't be everywhere. I was at the rugby and then you hear, but the hockey did this or the netball did that. Then as a principal, I'm just extremely proud. Our boys under 16 basically won, they dominated the Durban North College Rugby Week. Our first team also, they came second because they had just less tries than the other team. So they also dominated there. Many of our learners were players of the matches. With our netball, they came out first in their tournament in the Epworth Week. And Danae Potgieter, one of our netball girls, was appointed as the player of the whole tournament. And even with our boys hockey, Samkelo Radebe was appointed as the player of the week. And they also really did well. And I'm not even sure of all the tournaments, probably about 10 to 15 of our learners were selected to go overseas, to represent teams to play in overseas matches. And only the best on the tournament are selected for this. So we're very impressed with that. And then our swimming, I'm trying to think what has all happened this term. With our swimming, our learners, it's an individual sport, so it's actually quite a lonely sport, same with athletics. But our one learner went, it's Ruben Orkia, he swam at the SA level against adults, the likes of Chad Leclerc, and he did extremely well. So we're very proud of him. And it's athletics and galas and the PIC 16, and that's about it on the sporting front for the first term. And then we also obviously on the academic front, we just had our first term, so the Olympiads and everything will still get going, but we keep an eye on on those learners, and obviously we've got our extra lessons, so there's no specific achievements there. And then on the cultural front, our learners really excelled. They had these speech contests, and the Egia Janssen is a contest that takes place throughout KZN. And our 2 learners, Christian and Elizabeth, actually took first place, which is really, they can really talk. And the ATKV redenaars is dit gaan nou, dis nou aan die gang. So by die ATKV redenaars het ons 17 leerders wat deur is na die semifinaal. So you know what, that is what we pride ourselves in, that we achieve on every front, that we're a well-balanced school, academics, culture and sport. We are really a special school. When I look at our teachers, the parents, the learners, our management team, our governing body, And as I said previously, we form a community. And we are actually quite very close. I often tell the staff that the 3 F's apply. The first one is faith, and that's the most important. Then we have family, because if you're not secure in your family at home, you're not going to be happy at your job. And the last one is the Ferrum Falcon family. So we've got all these F's, which obviously supports the whole idea of our Ferrum family. And I try and promote that. I tell the staff, you know what, we're a team. And it's not, it's a cliched expression, but it's still applicable. That's why it's a cliche, because it's so good. The teamwork makes the dream work. And that's what I emphasize in everything we do. So you know what, the staff is just amazing. And we care about one another. And it's unique. It's something that's really unique. And I often also say that we strive for excellence, but it's not just about that. It's about caring for one another and supporting one another. And really putting yourself out there for your colleagues, that each one is not on his own island, so that we can pull together for the betterment of the school. And I think at this stage, it's working. So I'm happy. Good morning, goeiemôre, Sawubona. Ek is Charmaine Myburgh. Ek is die skoolhoof van Hoërskool Ferrum. I'm the principal of Ferrum High School.